Hello, friends, fifth graders. This is Miss Anderson here to teach some more math this week. We are going to start with our at-home classroom norms. So our first classroom norm says, have a positive attitude. When you watch these videos, be ready to learn with a positive attitude. The second one says, be respectful. Be respectful to yourself because you're still learning these new concepts, and be respectful to the teacher who's making the video. And the last one says, keep trying even when it gets hard. Some of this math is going to be pretty hard, but I want you to keep persevering through the difficult problems and ask for help when you need it. All right, friends, this week on this video, we are going to be working with array work on page 258. I am going to do numbers 1 and 2 up here together with you. And then I want you to work on number 3 and 4 on your own as practice. So get out that page and get ready to work along with me. Our learning target says, I can use an array to multiply and divide. You can see that we are not just using the array to multiply today, but also to divide and make those division equations as well. Hello, so we are on page 258 and we are going to do number 1 and 2 together on array work. And then I'd like to do the other ones on your own. So as you can look at number 1, you see that there are no equations for us. We have to fill in the multiplication equation and the division equation from what they've given us and fill in these blanks. So we have to figure it out on our own, different from last week's. So friends, 11 times something gets me to 220. Now I know 11 times 10 is 110. So if I double that, I got 220. So I know that 11 times 20 gets me to 220. Now I'm looking at my other blank and I have to do 11 times 2. Now I know 11 times 2, one of my multiplication facts, 22. Now friends, I'm not done there. I have to figure out what this equation is. So I know that the dimensions of my array are fill in my multiplication equation here. So 11 has to be one of them on this side. Now my two dimensions on top added together are 22. So 11 times 22 equals, now I have to add 220 plus 22. Some of you might be able to do this in your head, or you can do this on the side with standard algorithm. 242 is my answer. This comes to the tricky part, friends, that you have not done yet. 242. Now the inside of our array is the number that we were dividing. 242 divided by, and you get to pick one of the dimensions. Let's go with 11. 242 divided by 11 equals 22. So friends, then you take the number on the inside, that bigger number that you got as your answer to your multiplication problem, and it becomes then the beginning number in our division sentence. So 242 divided by 11 equals 22. Now let's go on to number 2 with our mixed numbers. Here is number 2, and I can see that I'm doing the same exact thing. I have to figure out a multiplication equation and a division equation, including my blanks. However, they gave me all of the dimensions. So really, I can already fill in part of my multiplication sentence here, or equation. I have 3 1/2 times 2 1/2. So friends, this says 1/2. I'll write it bigger. This is 3, and this is 2 1/2. Now they could have split this apart and made it 2 1/2. We can do that if you want, or we can just do it how they have it here. 3 times 2 1/2 equals. Now, I might take this apart for my own sake to figure it out first. So I'm going to do 3 times 2, and then I'm going to do 3 times 1/2. And then I'm going to put them together. 3 times 2 is 6. Now, what's half of 3? I know half of 3 is 1/2. Another way I could have said this is 3 times 1 gets me to 3/2, which is also equal to 1 1/2. Now, friends, I will put these two together to get my answer. 6 plus 1/2 is 7/2. That is my answer here. Now this bottom one would be 2 1/2 times 1/2. Now let's do that one. Make a line here. 2 times 1/2 and 1/2 times 1/2. I know half of 2 is 1. Half times 1/2, I can multiply the numerators and I can multiply the denominators. So 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Now I put my 1 and my 1/4 together and I get 1 1/4. Now I'm not done yet. There's lots of adding or multiplying going on. Now I have to add up my 2 products from the middle. So let's do that over here. This answer will be 7 1/2 plus 1 1/4. 7 1/2 plus 1 1/4. Now I might take this apart. Let's do another line. 7 plus 1 is 8. Now I have to do 1/2 plus 1/4. Now I know I can change 1/2 to 2/4. So this is equal to the same thing as saying 2/4 plus 1/4. I know now 2/4 plus 1/4 is 3/4. So 3/4 and 8 get us to 8 3/4. Now, friends, when we do our division equation, we take our product and we put it right up here as our first number in our division. So we are dividing 8 3/4 divided by, let's go with 2 1/2, equals 3 1/2. You are taking the numbers in your equation above and you're putting them into your division equation below. And you can see I did a lot of work. It does take a lot of work to figure these out, and that's okay, friends. I want you to take the time and to do the correct work. Don't rush through them. It's okay if it takes you a long time. Thank you, friends. I would like you to do number 3 and 4 on your own. If you do need help, please ask your teacher. Thank you for watching.